My daughter's wedding is in 2 weeks. Today, I discovered she invited my abuser to walk her down the aisle instead of me. I've spent 23 years raising my daughter Sophia as a single mother, 23 years of school lunches, doctor appointments, dance recitals, and college applications, 23 years of working 2 jobs so she could have opportunities I never had. When she got engaged last year, I cried tears of joy, despite everything. I'd raised a beautiful, successful young woman who'd found love with a kind man. When she asked me to help plan the wedding, I poured my heart into every detail, turned the venue, the flowers, even selling my mother's jewelry to help pay for her dream dress. I never had a wedding of my own. Sophia's father disappeared when I was 5 months pregnant, leaving me alone at 19. My own father, Pertil, Sophia's grandfather, stepped in to help us, becoming the only father figure in our lives until his death when Sophia was 12 at least. That's what I thought. Yesterday I was at the florist finalizing the bouquets when my phone buzzed with a text from my sister. Is it true? Is Richard really walking Sophia down the aisle? My blood turned to ice. Richard is my stepfather parent, the man who physically and emotionally abused me from ages 13 to 17, until I finally escaped by moving in with a friend's family. The man my mother chose over me when I begged her to leave him. The man I've had no contact with for 25 years. I called my sister immediately. What are you talking about? Mom told me, she said hesitantly. She said Sophia reached out to her and Richard last month. They've been meeting for coffee. Sophia asked Richard to walk her down the aisle because she wants a father figure on her wedding day. I drove to Sophia's apartment in a daze. When she opened the door, one look at my face told her I knew. I was going to tell you, she said quietly, inviting me in. Her living room was filled with wedding gifts and sample centerpieces. I'd helped her choose on her coffee table. Sat a photo I'd never seen before. Paired Sophia smiling between my mother and Richard. Why my voice broke on the single word. I wanted to know where I came from, she explained. I found Grandma on Facebook last year. She told me about Richard, how he'd been there when you were pregnant with me. He was there, I whispered, watching while I vomited from morning sickness, telling me I was disgusting. There when I went into labor, refusing to drive me to the hospital because his football game was on. Sophia looked away. Brahma said, you've always exaggerated what happened. That Richard had a temper, but he provided for you. She said you were a difficult teenager. The room seemed to spin around me. A difficult teenager. Is that what she calls a girl whose stepfather broke her arm for coming home 10 minutes late, who locked her in a closet for getting a B on a test? Did she show you the scar on my back from when he pushed me down the stairs? Or tell you how she watched it happen and told me to stop provoking him? Tears filled Sophia's eyes. She said you'd say these things, that you've always blamed others for your problems. In that moment I realized my daughter parent, my own flesh and blood, parent believed them over me. The people who had caused me so much pain that I'd spent years in therapy learning how to trust again, how to not flinch when someone raised their voice. I've never met my grandfather, Sophia continued softly. I've never had a dad. Is it so wrong to want someone to walk me down the aisle? But why him? I ask. Why not my brother or your Uncle James or any of the men who've actually been in your life? Because he's family, she said simply. And he's sorry for whatever happened between you two. He wants to make amends. Whatever happened? I repeated incredulously. Sophia, there is no whatever happened. The bite and hospital visit requiring abuse. She shook her head. Grandma said you were always dramatic. I left her apartment feeling like I'd been hollowed out. 23 years of sacrifice of love, of building a life for us Parn, and my daughter had chosen my abuser over me because she wanted a traditional wedding photo. This morning the wedding planner called about the processional order. So, after the bridesmaids, we'll have Richard walking Sophia down the aisle and then you'll be seated by the usher. Is that correct? I couldn't speak. Not only was Richard walking my daughter down the aisle, Parn, I wasn't even being acknowledged as the person who raised her. I was just another guest to be seated. I called Sophia one more time. Please, I begged. Don't do this to me. Don't make me watch the man who hurt me give away the person I love most in this world. It's my wedding day, she replied coldly. Not everything is about you and your past. Now I sit here with the mother of the bride dress hanging on my closet door, wondering how I can possibly attend this wedding, how I can watch my abuser take credit for the amazing young woman I raised, how I can smile through photos with the man whose face still appears in my nightmares. Part of me wants to refuse to go, to take a stand and protect myself from the trauma of seeing him again. But another part knows that if I don't attend, I'll lose my daughter forever. My mother and Richard will fill her head with more lies about how selfish and dramatic I am, how I couldn't even show up for her wedding. The wedding is in 2 weeks. The invitations list Richard as the one giving her away. My name appears only